Hello and welcome to another episode of IVM Likes. Wishing you all a very happy Father's Day. Woo!
Yeah!
Wow, you guys actually went along with that. Alright, I'm Antariksh Thakkar. I'm joined by my co-host Snayhil Aneja. Hello Snayhil Aneja.
Hello, Antariksh bhai.
All good, man. How are you doing?
All good.
How's your dad? I don't know. Say hi to dad. You know, like, have you heard the saying, say hi to mom?
Actually, this episode will be the episode that I'm going to send to my family and tell them that this is what I do in Bombay.
Yeah.
They've been asking for...
Dad, this is what I think about you.
भाई they've been after my life कि तू करता क्या है बॉम्बे तू अब मैं उन्हें पॉडकास्टिंग समझाता हूँ तो वो कहते हैं क्या है मैं कहा यार माइक पे कहानियां सुना रहा होता हूँ बेसिकली एंड देन दे आर लाइक वो नीलेश मिश्रा की तरह मैं कहा नहीं अगर वो अपनी ड्रंक स्टोरीज बता रहा है तो देन दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग सो फाइनली दिस एपिसोड विल बी क्लीन. At least from my side.
No, it's not. You already said you discussed drunk stories. You already talked about.
I have to send this episode to my dad.
We are also joined by Jalasmi. Hey, Jalasmi.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well.
How's your relationship with your father?
Wow.
No, let's
Straight
not.
away.
It's
hi,
nice.
hello.
He's the only person in the family I have no issues with. He's the best person.
Okay, that got deep. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Why not? Yeah? Why?
Because
Why
he
is your
doesn't
judge as
judge.
much.
He doesn't be sarcastic. All he wants
He
is
doesn't
beta.
get involved in my life at all. It's
No,
so
no.
great.
All he wants is beta. सुबह जल्दी उठो रात को जल्दी सो.
That's all, and he's happy.
it.
Majani life.
Yes.
मस्त अपने डैड को क्लोज फ्रेंड्स वाले सर्कल में ऐड कर लो इंस्टाग्राम पे.
नहीं इतना भी नहीं.
Yes. And apparently us three people who don't have great relations with our dads are also joined by Abbas Momin.
Yes, hi.
Who has the best relationship with his dad.
Yeah. No, not really. My relationship with my dad is typical Indian father-son relationship where he calls me every day and he's like, सब ठीक है? तबीयत ठीक है? खाना खा लिया? चलो ठीक है.
Oh, you mean like it's like 30 seconds of actual what you need to talk about and then the rest is just awkwardness.
And then there is a pause.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
And then both realize.
sometimes like day before yesterday, there'll be the 3 questions. खाना खा लिया? सब ठीक है? तबीयत ठीक है? और बारिश शुरू हो गई है.
That's all dads. That's all dads.
परसों बास भाई चौथे पड़ाव तक पहुंचे.
That's the next step in his relationship with his dad. That's very cool. Yeah? Congrats. We're moving up. So that's what we're talking about on this episode. We're talking about Father's Day is coming up. We already did a Mother's Day episode. So we had to kind of,
Yeah.
banta hi tha, we can't really help it. So we're going to talk about some cool dad stories. If you guys remember any of your dad jokes, I'd be happy to hear them also. And that and a lot more coming up.
Yes, right after this short break.
Hello. It's been another great week here on the IVM Podcasts Network. On Shunya 1, Sheila Aditya asks Arham Pratap Jain, founder and chief trucking officer of Trucknetic, about his entrepreneurial journey. On Cyrus Says Cock and Bull, Cyrus, Ayushi, Sriram and Abbas, that's me, comment on how an American man quit his dream job at Netflix simply because he was bored. On Press Decode, Sara Vagda and Prafula discuss the controversy around former BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma's hateful comments. On Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav discovers the bizarre connection between Jesus Christ and the deadly militant organization LTTE. And on Ek Chuski Finance, Priyanka teaches us the basics of asset allocation. We've got some exciting news for you. IVM Podcasts has just launched its merch, and our first line is out now. Head to the IVM Podcasts website and click on the shop tab to check out our first collection of t-shirts. Do follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any platforms you're listening on. And you can also check us out on YouTube. We're also doing a small listener survey to better understand how you respond to our shows and advertising on the network. We would really appreciate it if you could spare a few minutes to fill it in. It helps us build better shows for you. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week. SBI Life Insurance, Apne Liye, Apno Ke Liye. Jupiter, a digital banking app. Capgemini, get the future you want. Intel vPro, built for business. And Intel, future banao wonderful with Intel-powered laptops.
And we're back.
Like Terminator, who maybe did have a father himself. Did Terminator have a father?
No, but the second Terminator
Terminator
is
Senior.
very much about being the father figure. No,
He
for,
is.
for a
Yeah,
single
that's-
mother. Yeah.
For since
can
Terminator
be
2,
a
it's about being the father figure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can be a father
Yeah.
figure.
So Terminator, yeah, he's a good father. Yeah?
Also,
I
the
would
first
say.
Terminator, he comes back to kill the dad. I mean,
Yeah, there is a father figure
yeah,
in that
Yeah.
who he's trying to kill, and then the second movie onwards he becomes a father figure in every
Exactly.
movie.
Not a
forward.
good start to a Father's
The
Day
father-
episode.
I'll kill your father, then become your father. Damn it.
Guys, he has to send the episode home.
हाँ
Babe.
यार, we'll keep this in mind throughout the
Yes,
episode कि
correct.
ये episode मेरे घर वालों के लिए
Yeah.
एक इंडिकेशन है कि मैं बॉम्बे में क्या कर रहा हूँ.
Okay.
Yeah,
Snehil,
नहीं,
you were
uncle,
telling
आपका
me-
बेटा बहुत सीधा है. please
Snehil, you were telling me
don't
how-
worry.
Still, you were telling me you use protection so you don't become a dad.
There you go, there you go.
Hi, namaste Anuja aunty. कैसे आप?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, you're being responsible. But
You're
you know
being
that
very
has happened. So on the Mother's Day episode, I have talked about how my mom once found condom in my car.
Oh,
Condoms in my
really?
car.
Oh.
And
Now I need to listen to that episode.
and so she found the condoms. She was searching my dashboard for cigarettes and all. She found condoms.
सोना ढूंढने निकले थे तो हीरा मिल गया.
And then she had the box of condoms in her hand and she's just staring at me like, what is this? What is this? And I'm just driving. I don't know what to say for a second. Then I go, Mom, you think about it, is it better if you find the condoms or is it better if you don't find the condoms?
And what did she answer?
She just
थप्पड़.
laughed. She literally laughed and then,
Flying chappal
and then we
received.
moved on to another topic. She laughed and then we moved on to another topic
Okay.
about pregnancies. No. So coming back to dad.
बहुत गंदा IPL जोक है मेरे माइंड में.
बोलना बोलना.
Just call it a dad joke and say it.
Yeah, you're not sending this to your family anyway.
अब तो हो चुका.
Unless you edit it,
ये भी
which I
गया.
am prohibiting you from doing.
anyway, नहीं I'm not. मेरे को भेजना ही है एपिसोड यार घर पे.
Just then भेज दे.
Anyway, अच्छा, we'll go to some good things that we talk about our family.
Yes.
Any good father memories do you have from your childhood? Let's start with that.
I have it's a happy, funny but awkward kind of a memory that I have.
Okay.
I love my father. Let's start off with saying that.
We
Yeah.
all love
Okay.
our fathers.
Yes, let's just start off with saying that.
Ah.
And but I remember I used to be like a little naughty as a kid, not in a dirty way, but just as a kid. Okay, and so I went up to my dad, and I had just learned this from a friend earlier in the day in school, where I would put. My friend put his hand on my cheek and like, oh, nice, oh, so soft, oh, that's so nice, and then he slapped me.
Okay.
As a joke, I don't know what the funny part was, but I found it very funny. And I at night,
बाप को तो नहीं मार दिया.
exactly, dude. I went home.
And then, how old were you?
I was like in first standard, literally
Okay,
either first or lower,
Huh.
because we were still living in Delhi then. And so I go to my dad. My dad is lying down with like one arm resting or reading a book or something. And I go like touches like, oh wow, nice beard and all whatever. Like he had like a rough beard, and I slapped him, light slap, but I still slapped him. I remember immediately my dad, his expression was he was smiling and he became angry almost instantly. He didn't say a word after that. Okay. But I remember just laughing a little and then getting awkward and then just walking out of the room. And then no conversation happened about that ever. We've never
Till
talked
this
about
day.
it. Till this day, we've never addressed,
Never
that I
addressed it.
slapped my dad.
Your dad has trauma from you.
Yeah, really, he does, man. It's like some 2-stage shit I did to my dad.
Clearly दादी जी को तो कॉन्डम नहीं मिले थे. मिले होते तो
No, you slapped him and then I was like, wow, dude, it was a G.I. Jane joke. And then you were like, keep my mom's name.
But, yeah, I mean, it was a very light like tap.
Sure, it's okay. Stop justifying it.
I'm just saying, Dad, sorry. I'll send this episode to my dad.
एक बार ना सेकंड में सो दिस
Right now, Snehil's dad is thinking गलत लोगों के साथ जुड़ गया ये अपने पापा के ऊपर हाथ उठा रहे हैं लोग.
सेकंड में ना एक बारी सो दिस इज व्हेन आई वाज लाइक क्या कूल डैड है यार मेरा. सो व्हाट हैपेंड वाज टीचर ने बोल दिया योर सन हैज बिकम अ बिग बदतमीज. मम्मी गुस्से में घर आई एंड मेरी फटी पड़ी है कि मम्मी पापा को बताएगी.
Wait, but the teacher obviously said more than just she's become Batamiz. What's the reason behind Batamiz?
वही तो अरे स्टोरी सुनते नहीं अभी इंटरवल में.
I thought you were just getting home to the result after that.
हाँ, तो अभी क्या हुआ घर आके अब my mom is super angry and I am super फटा हुआ कि भाई अभी पढ़ने वाली है क्योंकि मम्मा पापा को बताएंगे. मम्मी ने पापा को बताया, पापा ने कुछ नहीं कहा. स्पोर्ट्स डे आने वाला था नेक्स्ट वीक. हम लोग स्पोर्ट्स डे के लिए पेरेंट्स ऑब्वियसली गए और I was very good at sports. So I won like 2-3 gold medals. And
humble brag, huh?
I have never won anything in sports day.
And announcement हुई कि अब sports day खत्म हो गया है. जिनके पेरेंट्स आए हैं बच्चे अपनी क्लास वाले टेंट में हैं जाके उनको ले लो. तो अब my dad came and मतलब मेरे को बुलाया गया and then my dad went up to my teacher and he's like कि आपने इसकी मदर को बोला था कि he has become a big बदतमीज. क्या बदतमीजी करी है इसने. सेकंड में था मैं. तो अब टीचर मेरे गले में 3 मेडल लटके हुए हैं, ठीक है. तो टीचर इज लाइक नहीं ही इज जस्ट नॉटी टॉकेटिव. देन माय डैड इज लाइक हाँ उसको नॉटी और टॉकेटिव कहते हैं, बदतमीजी क्या करी है इसने मुझे वो बताओ. नहीं ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं कहते. हाँ तो फिर सॉरी बोलो.
What?
Oh, so
Okay.
cool.
He said that?
And he's like, and I'm like, oh.
What did the teacher do?
The teacher is like, नहीं, I'm sorry, I used the wrong terminology, but it's just talkative. I'm like, हाँ.
बेचारे टीचर को भी याद नहीं होगा यार, अब 20 दिन पहले की बात है.
And then my dad is like, बच्चे दूसरी में talkative और naughty नहीं होंगे तो फिर क्या होंगे? And then हाथ पकड़ो और ले गए. I was like, bro. मेरा बाप पावर रेंजर है, ठीक है. एक्सप्लोजन करा, पीछे मुड़ के भी नहीं देखा है. So very cool dad. That was the point. I was like, yes.
मेरा डैडी cool. What about Abbas? Anything you remember?
Like a cool story?
If you have one.
No,
Mine wasn't a cool story. It's a weird story. But,
no, I think dads getting dominant in front of teachers gives a different kind of pleasure because as kids most of our time was spent around teachers and they used to dominate us. So this very similar thing happened to me is I missed the school bus. So then my dad had to drop me to school. और सुबह का जो डैड का मूड होता था जो नींद में से उठा के मम्मी बोलती कि इसको छोड़ाओ, dads are extra grumpy because they get the few extra hours of sleep are gone and everything. So anyway, the whole 45 minutes car ride completely silent. कुछ बात नहीं हो रही, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. Then we reached there and obviously I am late because I missed the school bus and everything. And I think I mentioned this in passing on an episode before also. There was a Marathi teacher at the gate who was keeping score of all the late students who were coming, okay? So my dad stopped the car and I ran to the gate. And Marathi teacher was like, no, assembly has started. Now you cannot go inside, okay? And
as usual.
हाँ, मेरी फट गई कि अभी मैं वापस जाऊँगा और डैड चिल्लाएंगे कि तो बस मिस कर दी, अब स्कूल भी नहीं जाओगे, ये वो. And Marathi teacher came, ma'am, please. और Marathi teacher बोली, no. And then suddenly I could feel my dad coming from behind, okay? तो मुझे लगा, fuck, he's coming to whatever, slap me or whatever. And then my dad very casually was not even addressing the teacher, looked at me like, क्या हुआ? I think Marathi teacher is not letting me go because I'm late. And then my dad was like, हाँ तो ठीक है, चलो घर जाते हैं वापस. And then he just looked at the Marathi teacher and carried me away. And I thought that was pretty badass because then there was a stare down between me and between my dad and the Marathi teacher. And from then onwards, every time he had an altercation with the Marathi teacher, it was always epic. Because I would tell my dad कि ये marks यहाँ पे ज़्यादा मिलने चाहिए थे, इन्होंने दिए नहीं.
So you would come to school and all.
No, so then sometimes my dad would give not that I recommend this or anything, like I am not here to defend my dad's behavior, but sometimes he would like give sick burns like you should give more marks, even then the teacher would be like इसने answer लिखा नहीं उतना, and then he was like कि shouldn't you just stick to checking if kids have come late or not rather than checking their
Savage.
Not recommended, but yeah, this used to happen.
Damn.
Also my
You
dad's
just called your Marathi teacher a peon.
not exactly, but my dad's Marathi is very good as compared to me, so he would fight with him in Marathi.
लगे तू
Oh,
बच्चे
that's
देख,
cool.
ठीक है. पेपर कोई क्वालिफाइड टीचर चेक करेगा.
That's not cool.
So yeah.
I remember sorry, Jalasmi, were you going to say something?
Yeah. I mean, I just have a...
Yeah, please go ahead.
I just have a cute little core memory with my dad. So 26 July 2005 वाले जो floods हुए थे, my dad was the closest in terms of office. So he picked us up from our aunt's place. He got us home. Mummy नहीं आई थी because mummy was stuck in Vileparle. So I just remember that it was raining. There was no electricity. He came home and somehow made khichdi for us.
Oh.
My sister, I and my dad, we had like a small candlelight dinner. And then the road had become a river because we couldn't see the road. से पानी था. तो पूरी रात हम 3 लोग जाग के we were just seeing रास्ते पे पानी है, and it was just that's a core memory that I have with my dad.
आपदा को अवसर में तो तुम्हारे पिताजी यार आई थिंक जब हम छोटे होते हैं यार आई थिंक अभी ऑल्सो कि आवर डैड आर ऑलवेज आवर हीरोज ना है ना. सो अब सो वन वेरी क्यूट मेमोरी दैट आई हैव इज कि वंस मेरे को क्रिकेट का शौक था शुरू से, अभी भी है. बट सो हम लोग क्रिकेट खेल रहे थे एंड बॉल कॉस्को की बॉल आती थी उस टाइम पे, तो वो फट गई थी एंड मैंने ना डैड को बोला कि मेरे लिए बॉल लेकर आना शाम को. एंड मैं ये मेंशन करना भूल गया कि कौन सी बॉल चाहिए. ठीक है, तो वो रात को आए एंड उन्होंने कॉस्को की बॉल निकाल, क्योंकि अंडरस्टूड है कॉस्को की बॉल ही चाहिए क्रिकेट खेलना, तो उन्होंने कॉस्को की बॉल मुझे कैच करा. एक जैकेट पहन के गए थे. आई वाज लाइक ओ थैंक्स और ये और वो. एंड देन एक और लेदर की बॉल, फिर एक फ्लैश की बॉल, फिर एक
बास्केटबॉल,
मतलब जितनी तरीके की बॉल से क्रिकेट खेला जा सकता था.
सीजन बॉल भी लाए,
वो सारी की सारी बॉल्स बोले. एंड आई वाज लाइक बहुत ही मतलब समझ रहे हो ना क्या कोई वर्ड्स नहीं.
Stop crying, Snehil.
Snehil, I think you should send this episode. I remember, so we used to go, I lived in Goa for 2 years of my life, in my 7th and 8th standard, okay, as a kid.
गोवा में?
Yeah, in Goa.
Like with your family.
With family, because my dad had a transferable
Delhi,
job.
Goa.
जिंदगी
Yeah,
में
I mean,
जीत
all
गया
over,
यार.
I know, right? But 7th, 8th standard, not ideal.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I was a kid, didn't do anything.
Yeah, okay.
And,
We'll believe that.
Sure. So
Incognito.
every morning we used to get dropped to the school by our driver.
Rich.
No, government employed
Okay,
driver. We had a
okay.
government driver.
Driver and
And so but sometimes when the driver couldn't make it, either of my parents had to drop us. So normally it would be my mom, okay? But my mom used to drive really slowly, okay? Okay, yaar, it's so slow, we get bored, whatever. It's very, very snotty little brats, kids, okay? And school wasn't even that far away. It was like 15 minutes we would be there regardless of the speed you're almost driving at, okay? So my mom is really slow and she get really bored, and so we used to keep comparing. Mom, nahi, we don't want to go with you. You drive really slowly. So one day my mom sent my dad. Ever since then, no, we were like, Mom, you only drive us, because my dad drives even slower than my mom turns out, and even more carefully. Like he takes like a minute to start the car. Levels like adjust everything as you should, but you don't really always, But my dad did, and. Yeah, that's what my wife said. But my dad drives really slowly and really too carefully, that to the point of being boring.
Has it ever happened where you guys were afraid to break some news to your dad because you thought he'll be really angry, but then surprisingly he was not that angry?
I'm sure it's happened. I can't recall right now.
Because I have sensed a pattern with my father. So again, people who've heard me on shows would know that I dropped out of dentistry, and my father is a doctor, okay? So the very reason I was studying dentistry was because he wanted me to be a doctor, and I failed in my first year, okay? So अब मेरी फट रही है कि मैं कैसे बताऊँ रिजल्ट, कैसे बताऊँ, all of that will be held back for 6 months, whatever. But somehow I mustered up courage and told him कि मतलब and I failed in all subjects, all 3 subjects, okay? ऐसा भी नहीं कि एक पास हो गया. ठीक है ना, I told him
घर छोटा होगा, गाड़ी पर मैं खुश रहूंगा.
So I told him कि एक भी क्लियर नहीं हुआ and everything, and he's like कि अरे तो क्या हुआ, मैं भी फर्स्ट ईयर में एक सब्जेक्ट में फेल हुआ था, ठीक है क्लियर हो जाएगा. I was like okay, pretty chill, okay, I mean that I didn't expect that, ये वो. And then 2-3 days later, something else that they'll be angry on, then while scolding us for that, they'll be like, और फेल भी हो गया था.
That is
फेल
so
हो
true.
के आए.
That is so true.
So yeah, that's very, very dangerous. So if you have broken a bad news to your dad, don't in the next couple of weeks, because then it will come back to haunt you in the near future.
Absolutely.
भाई एक बार ना क्या हुआ था, so I and my mom were having a fight. Good लिजिट आर्ग्यूमेंट, ठीक है। एंड उससे एक हफ्ता पहले ना मेरी मॉम ने मेरे को एक टॉन्ट मारा था कि तू बहुत सनकी हो गया चीजों को लेके। लाइक ठीक है, वो था मेरे माइंड में। एंड देन माय मॉम वाज लाइक मैथ्स पढ़ाना है, एक तो मैथ्स पढ़ना है, ऑलरेडी बीटी है, ठीक है, तो जाके अपनी मैथ्स प्रैक्टिस बुक ले आ। मैं ढूंढ रहा हूँ मैथ्स प्रैक्टिस बुक, मिल गई, बट मुझे मैथ्स प्रैक्टिस नोटबुक नहीं मिल रही है। तो शी लाइक जाओ ढूंढ कर रहा हूँ, लाइक नहीं मिल रही है, रजिस्टर पढ़ा है, इस पे काम कर लेते हैं। नहीं वही चाहिए मुझे। एंड आई लाइक क्यों, ये आपकी सनक नहीं है अब।
क्यों, व्हाट इज इट?
क्यों, ये अब आपकी सनक नहीं है कि वही चाहिए।
Because she called him Sanki.
एंड बोल तो दिया हीट ऑफ द मोमेंट में। एंड देन आई एम लाइक भाई ये गलत हो गया है, अब गलत। एंड देन माय मॉम इज आल्सो लाइक फ्रोज फॉर अ सेकंड एंड शी इज लाइक ये बोला कैसे तू? ठीक है, वहां से तो थप्पड़ पड़े ही पड़े, दैट इज तो अलग। एंड देन शी सेड पापा को अंधे उनको बताती हूँ। अब वन थिंग माय डैड हैज नेवर लाइक हिट मी आज तक टिल डेट। अब आगे मैं कुछ कर दूं तो वो अलग बात है,
जैसे ये एपिसोड भेज दिया।
बट अभी तक तो मुझे उनसे मार नहीं पड़ी है। एंड आई वाज लाइक अब यार मम्मी को आउट एंड आउट इंसल्ट ही हो गया एक तरीके से। आई एम लाइक डांट पड़ेगी घर आएंगे तो। घर आए पापा, मम्मी लाइक यार जिसने ये किया, कह रहे अच्छा चलो रेडी हो जाओ, डिनर पे जाना है हम लोगों ने अभी तो। आई वाज लाइक यस थैंक्स, आज डिनर था। भाई मैं इतनी मैं पूरा दिन खुद को पनिश करके मुर्गा बन के बैठा रहा था, पता है कि बस मेरी माँ मेरे बाप को बताए ना, और उन्होंने बताया एंड लाइक हाँ मैं समझा दूंगा, चलो अभी डिनर पे चलो।
I remember this one piece of advice, या फिर जो भी कह लो, when I was leaving for Bangalore, I was 21 when I was leaving for Bangalore, and he's like, बेटा ध्यान से रहना, बाहर ज़्यादा निकलना मत, all that he said, and in the end he said, and बेटा कुछ illegal मत करना। And I am like,
so you never cut a signal in your life.
No, that's not what he meant. His precise words were just make sure you don't do any illegal activities. And see, I don't smoke.
That's legal though.
Occasionally.
Both are legal.
The other things.
Say ना.
The other things.
Say ना,
ये सारी चीजें नहीं करती हूँ ना, मैं ड्राइविंग करती हूँ. So illegal activity, by that he obviously meant.
समझ गया implied
sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still better. My dad is like no hanky panky. ये तो मत बोले यार।
मेरे डैड ने बताया, सो मेरी 12th के ना बोर्ड्स दिए ही थे मैंने, और मुझे पता था मैं करके आ गया हूँ बोर्ड्स, ठीक है। मेरे को मतलब अकाउंट्स के पेपर में 6 नंबर का क्वेश्चन बैलेंस शीट बनाना है, ठीक है। एक का आंसर आ रहा है 1,05,000, एक का आ रहा है 3,000, ठीक है। एंड आई एम लाइक इन दोनों में से कोई तो ठीक होगा ही। तो मैं आस एक बंदे से पूछता हूँ कि भाई क्या आ रहा है, कह रहा 40,000। कुछ आसपास ही नहीं है। और मैं इतना मैंने दोनों आंसर काट के 40,000 लिख चेक नहीं कर रहा हूँ क्या।
How did you arrive at that?
मतलब मेरे को अकाउंट्स इतना नहीं आता था कि 8 नंबर के क्वेश्चन में मैं लिख कर आ गया अकाउंट डेबिट अकाउंट क्रेडिट बस।
Dude, I was like that with physics.
आधा नंबर मिल जाएगा बहुत है।
But where is your
हाँ,
dad? The dad is here to come in the story.
तो मैं करके आ गया हूँ बोर्ड।
एक मिनट स्नेहिल, जेंटल रिमाइंडर, एपिसोड घर भेजना है।
हाँ वो मैं घर पे बता चुका हूँ। उन्होंने देख लिया रिपोर्ट कार्ड मेरी, अब क्या ही छुपाऊंगा।
नहीं, योर चॉइस ऑफ वर्ड्स,
वो तो
रिमाइंड
कर गया।
वो तो बीप हो जाएगा ना।
ओके हाँ फिर
What happened was, अब मेरे घर पे पता है क्योंकि मैं पेपर से रो के निकला हूँ बाहर, और मेरे डैड मुझे पिक करके घर लाए।
I just imagine you crying and marking across.
I swear accounts was even worse than maths. ठीक है, इतना खराब गया था। तो मैं आया हूँ एंड ये डील थी कि मेरे 12th के बोर्ड्स के रिजल्ट के बाद पापा मुझे थंडरबर्ड गिफ्ट करेंगे, रॉयल एनफील्ड की बाइक। हाँ तो अब क्या, अब जिस तरह से मेरे बोर्ड्स गए हैं मेरे को बिल्कुल ही उम्मीद नहीं थी कि आ रहे हैं, बाइक आ रही है। तो जिस दिन बोर्ड्स खत्म किए उसके 3 दिन बाद पापा लाइक फोन आया, बाहर आओ बैल्कनी में आओ। मैं बैल्कनी में गया तो पापा खड़े थे, कह रहे अरे नीचे आओ यार फटाफट। मैं नीचे गया तो पीछे से चाचू नई थंडरबर्ड विद ऑल रॉयल एनफील्ड एक्सेसरीज लगवा कर आ गए। सुपर स्वीट, एकदम प्यारा मोमेंट। आई एम लाइक ओ बाइक आ गई और ये और वो। एंड देन चाचू इज लाइक अब पीछे वाली सीट पे किसी सुंदर सुंदर इंसान को बिठाना है, ठीक है. To which my dad replies,
No hanky panky.
इसको मैंने बोल रखा है 25 तक कुछ नहीं.
Okay, do you guys drink with your dads?
Yes.
You do? Hey, great. Do you remember the first drink you had with your dad?
Yeah, I think it was, we don't drink very often in the house.
Okay.
But New Year pe, I think,
New Year's.
yeah, he got some beer घर पे की.
Nice.
If you want to drink, you drink with me. यार ऐसे बाकी लोगों के साथ मत पीना. People are not trustworthy.
Sure.
That's his way of. So
Sure.
yeah, I've had it.
Nice. I remember my first drink with my dad was on my 17th birthday.
या फिर जल्दी हो गया.
Illegal activities.
That's what my dad meant. Yes. My dad was saying do more illegal activities. So I was 17 years of age on my 17th birthday, which is pretty cool. And I remember my dad. So it's always like you can't tell show to your parents that you've already drunk alcohol before, right? So you act.
पापा ग्लास टेढ़ा करके बियर डालो.
Correct.
नहीं तो ऊपर वो जम जाए.
So the first time I drank, I remember the first few times I drank, I would act as if I'm not enjoying it as much.
Of
And like,
course.
this taste, and like leave half the bottle empty, like only drink half, like, nahi, aur nahi pee ja rahi. You have to waste the first few times.
साइड रख दो मैं
Yes.
जरा.
So yeah, but it's very normal to drink at my house with family, with the Punjabis. I remember my grandmother used to drink almost till her deathbed. She was like in the last 6 months of her life she was on her deathbed, so she didn't drink then. But before, literally like I would say a week before that, she was merrily drinking like beers and whiskeys and having a good time, dude. So very normal to drink in my family.
मेरे नानू का एक रूल. अच्छा, so I have lived with my grandparents, नानी नानू, जब से मैं 12-13 साल का था.
Oh, nice.
तब से तो नानू ना किसी भी फंक्शन में जाते थे, उनका वो होता था स्टेपल कि 2 पैक, और वो 2 पैक को बाकायदा पूरा फंक्शन चला लेते थे. ठीक है. एंड whenever the waitress would come or the waiter would come and like, sir ये 2 हो गए, 2. एंड सो मेरे घर में कोई भी ड्रिंक नहीं करता है. एंड आई एंड माय
तेरे
डैड,
अलावा
मैं भी नहीं ड्रिंक करता.
चल झूठा.
अरे सुबह तो तूने 2 लगाई.
ऑफिस में ही ना. तो आई एंड माय डैड हैड दिस डील कि मेरे 25th बर्थडे पे we'll open a champagne, या उनकी 25th anniversary पे we'll open a champagne.
Whichever comes first.
उनकी anniversary comes first. Actually मेरे mom dad की anniversary is 14th January and मेरा birthday 17th January.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you poor thing. They could have waited 3 days to open it. But
तो but वो नई champagne की bottle open हुई अभी तक.
अरे, तो 25 का भी हो गया, फिर अभी
हाँ, हो
26
गया.
में.
हाँ यार, बट अभी तक जैसे आपने बोला ना कि वी आर पंजाबीज, like we drink, we are also Punjabis but we don't drink.
that's like a missed opportunity there. Like you and vegetarian Punjabis. There are Jain Punjabis.
Bro, नहीं.
That's like again a missed opportunity.
वो जैन ही है.
Yeah, it's like a missed opportunity.
पंजाबी तो नहीं है.
I obviously have never, we don't drink because we grew up in a Muslim family, but I dated someone who had her first drink with her dad. And it is kind of a rite of passage for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where it's very
Sure.
special. Especially in Malayali culture, I think this is a very,
Really?
very big thing.
Could
Where
very
you
big,
drink first with your dad.
I don't know. I had no idea.
ओ,
What-
आपको हाँ बोलो.
What like so our dads, a lot of our dads at least, have like certain phrases that we've heard all our lives. Like the advice they give after the end of that. Like I know one of my dad's thing is whenever like he does like it one ups me or something, or he is able to solve something that I'm not able to. He always says, after all, I'm your father. Like always, that's a very typical
Basically
thing.
बाप को मत
Yes,
सिखा.
बाप को मत सिखा, exactly, yes. So, what about you guys? Do you have things like that?
So, I think if you want to really see your dad's true face, it's while they're driving. Okay, when road rage comes out. Okay.
My dad,
Ghar pe they are all very nicely put and
Pavam.
everything. Yeah, but when they're behind the wheel, then they're. So this is not a very it's not a curse, but it's something I also picked up because I've always heard him say whenever he uses the term "aisi ki taisi" a lot.
हाँ.
So it's like even when he's watching cricket and किसी ने अच्छा shot मार दिया. अरे देख मार साला ऐसी की तैसी. Okay, so in that thing it is passion that he liked the shot that Sachin has hit. And then if he's on the road, someone cuts him by calling, तेरे ऐसी की तैसी करता हूँ. So like I've seen him use it in various versions of and emotions.
Whenever my dad wants to like share something with me, ना, like कुछ ऐसा कुछ हुआ होगा उनकी life में and he wants like क्या कहते हैं उसे listening ear, ठीक है, तो he'll always say कि जब बेटे के जूते का साइज बाप के जूते के साइज से बड़ा हो जाता है तो वो बेटा नहीं बाप का दोस्त बन जाता है. सो whenever he uses this line on the call, I know कि आगे
like a long conversation
is coming.
But it's मुझे ये मुहावरा, I came to know this मुहावरा in the most literal sense. I was also I think some 12 or 13 years old and बारिश हो रही थी बाहर एंड आई थिंक मेरी चप्पल टूट गई थी या कुछ, और मुझे किसी चीज़ के लिए मेरी मम्मी ने बोला कि कुछ लेके आ. मेरे पास चप्पल थी नहीं, मैंने देखा पापा की चप्पल पड़ी हुई, मैं पहन के चला गया, चीज़ लेके आया. जब मम्मी कलेक्ट करी थी मम्मी ने चप्पल उतारे, उन्होंने देखा कि अरे तू पापा की चप्पल पहन के गया था. मैंने बोला हाँ. एंड देन शी कॉल्ड माय डैड, सुनो देखो इसको तुम्हारे चप्पल आ गए. कहते हैं ना कि जब बाप के चप्पल आ जाए तो वो बड़ा हो जाता है.
दोस्त हैंडशेक करो.
So for my dad, early to bed, early to rise is the only motto in his life. And
that doesn't rhyme.
He has this. It's okay. I just tried. So whenever we are sleeping beyond say 7:38, he'll just come. He'll just slowly wake us up and. अच्छा बेटा सो रहे हो, ठीक है कोई बात नहीं, सो जाओ. He does that every time and I'm just like, we've all given up and we're like हाँ ठीक है.
पहले ना मेरे डैड भी यही कि जल्दी सो जाना है, सुबह उठना है, ठीक है. एंड देन मैंने उनको इंट्रोड्यूस करा Amazon Fire Stick से.
अब बहुत लेट सोते हैं.
No, that is true. अगर कोई अच्छी मूवी लगी है टीवी पे, he will justify. अरे मेरे को, मैं रोज थोड़ी ना देखता हूँ. He'll watch at 11:30, 12 o'clock conveniently and then go to sleep.
12 o'clock. So my dad has this.
Still early. My parents sleep very often at like 1:32.
भाई ये सब मेरे को अब ऐसा रूकी नंबर्स लग रहे हैं भाई. My dad would call me and be like, कोई ऐसी वेब सीरीज बता जो मैं 11 बजे शुरू करूं और सुबह 5 बजे तक खत्म हो जाए, क्योंकि सोना भी तो है. and it has come to a point where he calls me and he's like, बेटा ये मूवी देख, ये वेब सीरीज देख, ये बहुत कमाल है. and I'm like, कब हुआ ये रोल रिवर्सल भाई? मैं बता रहा था अभी तक मूवीज. Every movie.
What has your dad recommended you? You remember anything?
अभी कोई पंजाबी मूवी आई थी, कोई गल वखरी करके शायद, या कुछ ऐसी एक मूवी थी, वो देख. एंड देन इज लाइक अभे 2 देख ले, अभे 3 देख ले, अभे 1 देख ले. एंड लाइक अच्छा, लाइक अरे ये पीयूष मिश्रा का ये वाला बहुत अच्छा है, देख ले. मैं हूँ पीयूष मिश्रा फैन. मुझे क्यों नहीं पता है ये सब. आई थिंक अब पंजाबी डायरेक्टर्स को और पंजाबी मूवीज बनानी पड़ेंगी उनको ताकि वो देख पाए. वो सब देख चुके हैं. एंड like he can be a very good guest when it comes to recommendations on this episode though.
You should do that. Maybe we should make that a series. Snayhil's dad recommends. Yeah.
Have you ever called your dad out on his bullshit though? Like I'll give you an example.
Oh my God.
For example, he would come back home from work and he would go to sleep. And then he used to tell me कि कोई भी अगर आएगा ना मुझे पूछने, बोल देना मैं घर पे नहीं हूँ, ठीक है. This happened multiple number of times and then I lied about something and then he was giving me a lecture कि बेटा कभी झूठ नहीं बोलते. तो मैंने बोल दिया हूँ पापा, आप तो जब सोते हो तो बोलते हो कि मत बोलो, कि बोलो घर पे कोई है नहीं. तो then for a second he was taken aback. I was like, वो अलग बात है.
always
like अब तू इतना बड़ा हो गया है.
हाँ ये एक वो कमबैक. इसका क्या जवाब दो?
इसका नहीं,
आप तो मुझे सिखाएगा. अरे
इसका कोई कमबैक ही नहीं है. You can never one up your dad. Because the moment you try to do that, अब तू इतना बड़ा हो गया. बस मैं स्कूल लेके गया हूँ तेरे को.
My dad has another saying. So like my dad, for instance, I'll give an example. Like my dad has always taught us physics and maths because he's like an engineer himself.
Oh,
in IIT.
All dads.
And and like really good. Like his basics were like excellent. To the point where if something is, I have to study something that's whatever the syllabus is, right? My dad would go like 2 steps before the syllabus and like 5 steps after the syllabus to explain that whole topic. And it would be very, you don't want that, dude. You're wasting time also. That's not in the syllabus. Why are you teaching me this stuff, right?
Learning maths and driving with your dad is another memory and trauma.
Exactly. But at the end of it, no, like, so how your dad would start a conversation with that saying, my dad
Hmm.
would end the conversation or end the lesson with a saying which goes, हिम्मत और समझदारी से मुश्किल काम भी आसान हो जाता है.
अरे बाप.
Nice.
Always. And he still uses that line till date. Like, he's teaching me about finances. And I still don't understand anything. He's telling me about investing, you know. Like, हिम्मत और समझदारी से मुश्किल काम भी आसान.
Listen to Ek Chus Ki Finance.
Yes. That's what.
Wow,
good
Jalasmi.
plug. Yes. Nice.
So one good thing about this is कि मेरे डैड ने मुझे कभी पढ़ाया है नहीं.
नहीं,
Wow.
मुझे पढ़ा है और
Amazing.
I don't recommend it.
I don't recommend. Yes.
मेरे डैड ने मेरे को हमेशा एक बात बोली है, कह रहे पढ़ाई से कुछ नहीं हो रहा है लाइफ में. ठीक है,
Wow.
तुम उतने नंबर ले आओ जितने मतलब कुछ प्रेशर नहीं है. 1995 वो कह रहे रिस्पेक्टेबल नंबर जो तुम्हें लगता है तुम ला सकते हो. ठीक है, विनिंग इन लाइफ, विनिंग एट लाइफ इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट देन ऐसा नंबर लाना.
That's
It's-
so forward thinking, yeah?
ब्रो इतना प्रेशर ऑफ हुआ था ना,
I'm sure.
तो तभी मेरे अकाउंट्स के ये हाल थे.
मैं बोलने वाला था भाई, फिर क्यों फट रही थी
Your
तेरी
dad
एग्जाम
just gave
में?
up on you.
Yeah. And yeah, all your Marathi marks sucked also, I'm sure.
मतलब अमेजिंग. मतलब व्हेन आई वॉकड इनटू लाइक
Marathi, sorry.
बोर्ड्स वाला वो ना, एंड एवरीबॉडी इज लाइक यार डैड ने बोला 95 आएंगे तो ये दिलाएंगे, घर वालों ने बोला मेरे आपने बोला पास हो जाना. ठीक है, आईपी में एडमिशन लेना है, 51% कट है, उतना तो आ ही जाएगा. ठीक
कितने
है,
हैं?
मेरे पापा
88 ब्रो.
Oh, अरे वाह bro.
मतलब
Wow.
अलग, मतलब मैं इतनी थी, मैंने रिजल्ट देखा, मैंने सिर्फ नीचे पास देखा, नंबर ही नहीं देखे भाई कितने हैं. मेरे को कंपार्टमेंट के डाउट्स थे खुद पे, क्योंकि अकाउंट्स का पेपर. मैं पास देखा, मैं खुश नाच रहा हूँ इधर उधर, एंड देन माय डैडी लाइक नंबर कितना, मैं वो नहीं पता. पास लिखा है नीचे.
Oh. You know what? I think I will send this to my family. So they can understand, Mom, without pressure you can study. God
No,
damn
I
it.
think the reason I am good with at least basic maths is because of my dad. The
Really?
reason I know percentage is because of my dad. He's just worked around and taught me different ways of making maths easy for me. He's the one who consistently sat me down. He's like, "Kar beta, ho jayega," and that's the reason I got really good marks in maths. He would bribe me with movies. I'm like, मुझे जाने तो
Wow.
यार, जाने ना देखनी है. Like, बेटा इतनी theorems तो पूरी लिख दे, फिर मैं तेरे को पिक्चर देखने लेके जाऊंगा.
मैं कभी पिक्चर ना
And he
देख पाता
did
अगर
that.
ये होता मेरे साथ तो.
And I was a very obedient child.
My
10th तक
my
मैं भी
brother-
बहुत अच्छा था, पता है. 10th में आई स्कोर्ड 100 on 100
Oh, wow. In
In
what?
what?
मैथ्स
Oh, wow.
बोर्ड्स में.
Really?
या और साइंस में 97 100 में से. फिर वो
क्या
ऐसा-
हो गया स्नेहिल?
वो
यहाँ कैसे?
मत पूछो.
So my brother was really good at mental maths and it still is. Like he
Yeah.
can add like
Oh,
five
my
digits,
my
like,
dad
one
is
thing.
wonderful at
Yeah.
mental maths, dude.
Exactly. So
Amazed.
my brother can like multiply like three digits into three digits like literally in seconds. Okay. So he's like very good. And my dad would like show this off at like parties and all to his friends and shit, right? And then one day,
India's got talent.
one day I remember my dad, so he goes to my brother, he asked all these questions or whatever, and my brother able to like instantly give answers. And then he turns to me and he asks me, I can't give even one. Okay, and I start crying. And then my dad feels like, oh, beta, oh, that's so bad. And I felt like so inferior to my brother in that moment. So
No,
thanks,
but
Dad.
हम लोग वन अप करने की बात कर रहे हैं. I want to say this.
Yeah.
Jalasmi like, my dad is also in the race, guys.
No. So the thing is, we are 3 women in the house and
Yeah.
Appa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are a lot of things. My sister actually calls him out a lot. I am still okay, but if he makes any sexist comments, any racist comments, anything patriarchal, he's not patriarchal. He's the most modern person. He's allowed us to. He's been supportive of everything that we do. So that way, he's quite forward thinking. But something very basic, my sister will just be like, "Papa, घर पे shirt पहन के घुमा करो, 3 लड़कियाँ हैं." No, so initially he's lived alone for 12 years. He was in another city. And now suddenly lockdown में सब घर पे थे. So there was so much friction and we are just one-upping him like anything. But the good thing is he's been a sport about everything. So,
पापा
yeah.
बिना कमीज के घर पे ना घूमे तो पापा कैसे हुए
Exactly.
फिर?
No,
My dad is never.
Antariksh, your dad is too posh.
I'm
sorry to
wearing
break it
kurta
to you.
pajamas at home.
अरे नहीं नहीं
Too
नहीं.
civilized.
Yeah.
No, he's like, he doesn't like her wearing shorts at in the house.
Ah.
So he's like, आप टी-शर्ट
Right.
पहनो, मैं full पैंट पहनेगी, deal.
नहीं पता है ऐसा ना, ऐसे मोमेंट्स आते हैं when you realize that slowly you are turning into your dad.
Yeah. So when did you have
With
that?
age,
मैं exactly मुझे पता है कब हुआ. You tell me.
So मेरे डैड का तो जैसे मैंने बोला कि मैं नानी नानू के साथ रहा हूँ 12-13 साल की उम्र से, तो दिस इज वन हैबिट जो मैंने नानू से बहुत पिक करी है. सो नानू वाज वन पर्सन जिनको हर काम अपना खुद करना है. कुछ मतलब ही कैन इजीली अफोर्ड कुछ भी, बट ही लाइक मैं खुद, वो स्टूल पे चढ़ जाते थे बल्ब बदलने एट द एज ऑफ 73-70. लाइक मैं जब कर सकता हूँ मैं क्यों ना करूँ. तो ही यूज टू लाइक भरी गर्मी दोपहर में यूज टू गो टू दिस सब्जी मार्केट सेइंग कि दिन में सब्जी सस्ती मिलती है. तो वो चले जाते थे एंड फुल गर्मी में वापस पसीने में भीग के वापस आते थे. ये नहीं कि नहाने चले जाओ या कुछ, कुर्ता उतारते थे, पंखे के नीचे ऐसे खड़े हो जाते थे कि पंखा सुखा देगा मेरे को. एंड रिसेंटली व्हाट हैपेंड वाज, मैं नीचे से कुछ खरीदने गया बॉम्बे में ही, एंड फुल ह्यूमिडिटी, पसीना एंड ऑल. मैं वापस ऊपर आया, मैंने टी शर्ट उतारी और पंखे के नीचे खड़ा हो गया. 30 सेकंड लाइक ओ
It works.
Have I turned into him?
Yeah. मुझे पता है कब realize हुआ. So my dad has this habit where me and my sister used to have our room as kids when we were growing up, and our the kids room had this very mood lighting or whatever kids lighting जो होती है, ठीक है, और एक ट्यूब लाइट हुआ करती थी. Me and my sister used to hate the tube light वाला लाइट, ये मिडिल क्लास वाली है, हम ये बल्ब जला के ऐसे करेंगे, ठीक है. And my dad, no matter what ever room he enters in, he used to switch on the tube light. इतना अंधेरा क्यों है, ट्यूब लाइट जलाओ, ठीक है. और मतलब a few months ago I did the same thing. I entered a room, I was on a film set and it was very mood lighting and everything, and I was like, ट्यूब लाइट नहीं है क्या, ट्यूब लाइट जला, इतना अंधेरा क्यों. And as soon as I switched on the tube light I was like, oh shit. Where have I heard this before?
So मेरे को एक और चीज याद आ गई. So मेरे डैड ने ना, he was an assistant director in Mumbai पहले, actor assistant director. So he used to go to all these fancy places.
Is he in movies? In like movies that we
हाँ, पहले उस टाइम पे दूरदर्शन की जितनी मूवीज थी and all, तो उनके पास ना पूरा एल्बम है जो संभाल के रखा हुआ है, and we used to from his modeling days and acting days and all of that. So anyway, he's been to like super fancy restaurants and like eaten बहुत अच्छी जगहों पे, sophisticated जगहों पे. तो उन्होंने मुझे फोक और नाइफ से खाना, वेरी अर्ली ऑन मैंने फोक और नाइफ से खाना सीख लिया था. तो अभी तक एक्चुअली ऐसा होता है, मैं डोसा फोक और नाइफ से खा रहा हूँ, अगर मुझे हाथ गंदे नहीं करने, तो ये काफी लोग जज करते हैं, बट एनीवे. तो
आई एम राइट हियर.
हाँ, तो बट मैं मतलब आई मैनेज टू ईट ऑलमोस्ट एनीथिंग विद अ फोक एंड नाइफ बिकॉज डैड ने वैसे सिखाया. अब वंस व्हाट हैपेंड वाज, हमने घर में बिरयानी मंगवाई एंड मेरे डैड ने क्या किया, चटनी, रायता, ग्रेवी ऐसे हाथ से उठाई और चावल में डाली और ऐसे ऐसे मतलब वो हाथ से खाने लग गए सब मिक्स करके. और मैं ऐसा डिस्गस्ट हो गया. ये क्या कर रहे हो,
जमाना बदल गया,
क्या है ये. आपने मुझे ऑमलेट और ब्रेड फोक और नाइफ से सिखाया है, जबकि मैं इजीली ऑमलेट को ब्रेड में डाल के खा सकता हूँ उसको, बट मैं वैसे खाता हूँ और आप हाथ से, ये क्यों नहीं. लाइक असली मजा ऐसे ही है, वो है लाइक चुप करो, स्पून से खाओ, ठीक है. तो उन्होंने चलो उस टाइम तो स्पून से खाया, धीरे धीरे उनकी स्पून से खाने की आदत हो गई. Randomly one day I order biryani and I'm like रायता उठाया, हाथ से डाला ऐसे करके, and I'm like पहली वैसी बाइट मुंह में डाली और automatically this thumb comes and like बहुत ही romantic तरीके से बिरयानी goes into my mouth and I'm like, oh, this is the point
my dad now.
where I turn into my dad. And now बिरयानी आती है, वो स्पून से खा रहे हैं पर मैं हाथ से खा रहा हूँ मस्त एकदम.
मेरे घर पे फुल उल्टा है. I used to eat with fork and knife, and then Papa's like, क्या है ये सब हाथ से खाओ ना, देसी. He's a big fan of everything desi, so पतंजलि की products आते हैं घर में and everything desi. And even tube lights का, my dad will always मुझे like पापा ने दिवाली चेक है. It's a
No wonder अब्बास 6 बजते ही ऑफिस की लाइट है ऑन.
Yeah, exactly.
Like every day since he's come, I'm noticing 6:10, 6:15 he gets up, सारी ऑफिस की लाइटें चला, खुद 6:30 घर चला जाता है.
Yeah, then I'm the one who switches all the extra lights off.
और ये लोग फिर बंद कर देते हैं. क्या प्रॉब्लम है तुम लोगों को.
My dad used to have this habit. My dad was always a funny one in his friend circle in our family or whatever. and at like parties, right? He would always gather everyone around. Everyone would be like just listening to my dad relay the same jokes he has told at the previous party and at the previous party
So,
and the
so
previous
I have
wedding.
a question. So do you think your stand-up
I
thing
think
comes
so.
from there?
I
Same.
so my dad is, both my parents actually, that I'm very thankful for, are huge appreciators of comedy. They like stand-up also.
Yeah, same.
Actually, more now that I'm doing it. But they have loved comedy in all forms all their lives.
But
Like-
I sometimes regret it because in the early days he would read me a WhatsApp joke
Always.
and he's like,
Use
"ये
it,
use
use it."
करो ना."
Yes. all the time.
ऐसे
dude.
नहीं होता.
You can use it if you
हाँ,
want.
you can use it.
Dads and WhatsApp is another love story.
Yeah. My dad
So
loves the all those marriage jokes, wife jokes.
Wife
Dude,
jokes.
My dad's like
I have a
my favorite.
story regarding this.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2017 January, my dad had a stroke. Okay. I was on my way back. I was going to a show from office and I got a call from my sister saying, "ऐसा ऐसा हो गया, come to Bombay Hospital as soon as you can." Okay. Now I reached there. My dad was in a pretty bad condition. He was on the stretcher. He was in the ICU. Okay.
Oh, shit.
And at that point, but he was conscious and he was talking and everything. So there is this instinct, I guess, which kicks in as a parent that you know your children will panic seeing you.
Yeah.
So you want to diffuse the tension so that they don't panic. ठीक है?
Yeah.
So my dad had just had a stroke. He was having trouble speaking and everything. But तो उनके पास जाके सुनना पड़ रहा था वो क्या बोल रहा था, ठीक है? Because he couldn't make out the words. So I came and I was very like this thing. I was panicked and emotional and whatever. And my dad was trying to tell me something. तो मैं उनके कान के पास गया and would believe, I don't know if you guys will believe this guy has had a stroke a couple of hours ago. He's struggling. God knows what's going to happen. And his first words to me are, एक बार पता है एक मियाँ और बीवी होते हैं. I was like, damn, आप स्ट्रेचर पे हो यार, मत बोलो ये सब. Well, I was like, then I was like, हाँ ठीक है, he's conscious, he's there, he remembers a WhatsApp joke that
Yes.
he's
Actually,
gonna
it's
get
a
by.
very dad thing, but it's a very male thing. I don't know whether I can say that or not, but I think family का जैसे
You
It is
just
our
did.
dad's generation.
हाँ,
For them, it is
exactly.
like husband-wife joke where the wife is the
नहीं
punchline.
वो भी नहीं, also कि पूरी फैमिली का मूड अपलिफ्ट करना मेरी जिम्मेदारी है.
हाँ.
ठीक है. So my नानू
बिगाड़ना
also
भी uplift करना भी.
exactly, basically that.
Even मम्मी गुस्सा होती. My mommy's anger is just out of this world. And Dad will
Same.
just
My mom was very short to very quick
He'll-
to anger.
You know,
Your mom?
very quick,
My mom
very
was same.
quick. And
Yeah.
it's not like something you can take up. वो अलग level का fire है.
Yeah.
हाँ.
So then he'll do two things. One, he'll try to crack a joke and try to
Rookie
be
mistake पता है.
try to be a little romantic. If that doesn't work, he will change the topic. My dad is a master in changing topics. तुम कुछ बात कर रहे हो, he will just very nicely segue into something, and then because my sister and I know his tactics, we are like, Papa, topic change मत करो.
हाँ.
But for somebody else, they will not come to know.
हाँ.
Nice. Very smart.
एक्चुअली मेरे डैड ने कभी मतलब ये टेम्पर इश्यूज मेरे डैड के साथ उनके अपने मतलब पर्सनल लाइफ में क्या रहे हैं क्या रही है मेरे को नहीं मालूम. मेरे साथ तो बिल्कुल टच वुड भाई. अगेन आगे नहीं पता क्या होगा बट अभी तक तो टच वुड. सो यू नो आई हैव बीन सच अ ठीक है. एक बारी क्या हुआ था, पूरे घर में वाइट वॉश हुआ है एंड मेरी मॉम शॉपिंग से आई है. ठीक है. लाइक ये मैं ये नेल पॉलिश लेकर आई, ये लिपस्टिक लेकर आई, ये किया वो किया.
For you, Snehal.
तो अब नाउ उन्होंने सब दिखाया एंड देन शी वेंट इनटू द किचन टू मेक समथिंग एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. मैं छोटा बच्चा बेचारा, किसी को कुछ मालूम नहीं है. मैं उनके बैग से लिपस्टिक निकाला लाल रंग की, दीवार पे पेंटिंग कर दी.
Oh shit.
ठीक है.
Oh, no.
एंड देन माय मॉम कम्स
Done
लाइक
it,
ये कि क्या है? Like, मैंने दीवार कलर कर दी. वाइट थी
Red.
अब रेड कर दी. डैड ने तब नहीं डांटा. ठीक है. एंड देन वन अगेन स्टूपिड थिंग, लाइक पापा 1000 का नोट लाए नया वो जब मैं छोटा था 1-2 साल का. लाइक मैंने ले लिया, कहते ये देख ही लाया हूँ, मैंने ले लिया.
Please
Then
don't
he's
tell
like,
me you tore it.
वापस दे. मैंने बीच में से आधा फाड़ा. आई एम लाइक आधा आपका आधा मेरा.
Oh, man.
उसके बाद भी पापा अगर सारी
बहुत patience है
Bro,
भाई.
बहुत पेशेंस है भाई.
Very good.
You know, when you mentioned the cricket ball story,
हाँ.
my dad has a thing with chocolates. तो अभी लॉकडाउन में भी he's like घर पे ना it's like मजा नहीं आ रहा. So he just
Nice.
got all the chocolates जो भी supermarket में थी अलग अलग flavor की, and he's like चलो dinner lunch के बाद एक एक खाएंगे. So after lunch he wants to eat, after dinner he wants to eat.
That's so true. My dad is the same way with stationery items. You know, like if he like he won't call for like one single pen. If you're running out of pens in the house, he'll call for like a whole bulk. He won't call for one single notepad. He'll call for like a whole bunch of notepads and
Yeah.
stick-on pads and whatever. So I get that. It's like a hoarding mentality maybe. It's like convenience. I think it's more convenience.
Convenience,
बार कौन जाए?
हाँ,
Get it done.
True.
Like food wise, right? Like when my father is very fond of eating from out, and like we going out with family or going out with friends or whatever.
True.
And whenever coming back, he'll get like buttloads of food, which is always great. He'll like all good kebabs and all, like your dad does with catering.
Oh भाई, my dad is a caterer by profession, and जब उनकी किसी भी function में catering है या कुछ है, इतने खुश होते थे ना हम लोग कि अब अगले हफ्ते कबाब आते रहेंगे, गुलाब इतना बड़ा पतीला भर के गुलाब जामुन आते थे कि मतलब हम लोग ऐसे होते थे कि हमसे खत्म नहीं होंगे, गली में बांट दो भाई, सबको दो. इतने गुलाब जामुन, कबाब, वेज, नॉन वेज, घर में पापड़ियाँ आ रही हैं, भल्ले पापड़ी बन रहे हैं रोज.
Oh man, I'm hungry now.
Yeah, so am I.
On this note,
actually, on this note, I think we've talked a lot about our fathers.
I love you, Dad.
Love you, Dad.
Love you, Dad. So I think we never say I love you to our fathers. Never.
Dude,
I do sometimes. I
Yeah.
text it. I
It's
text it sometimes.
No,
Sometimes when he
never.
sends me money, I'm like, hi, thanks for that.
नहीं ब्रो, एक्चुअली जेन्युइनली पता है, मैं ऐसा बहुत बार ही हुआ है कि मैं मूवीज में देख रहा हूँ और कुछ ऐसा सीक्वेंस आ जाता है. And
Dude,
then
dad son sequences do make me tear up
bro,
easily.
बहुत गलत.
I don't know why this is.
मैं देख नहीं पाता हूँ, पता है वो
Because
sequences.
the same thing, it's also all that pent up
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
Because
comes to the fore.
you always want to like express those emotions
Yeah, but
to
you
your dad,
can't.
but you can't. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you can't.
so
I think it's a very unsaid thing.
Yeah.
There are
Yes.
little moments where you समझ जाता है कि this is what you want to convey, but
exactly.
ऐसे नहीं बोला जाता.
So you know, there was this one time, I don't remember the movie, but मैंने बस dad को text किया कि dad I love you, and he calls me and he's like
सब ठीक
क्या
तो
हो
है.
गया सब, and I'm like बस मूवी देख रहा था.
I saw 3 Idiots.
नहीं यार एक तो my dad. So once what happened was I was talking to my mom about some issue that happened with a girl. ठीक है, and it was not like a breakup thing. It was just like an issue that happened. So my dad happened to overhear, and he calls me the other day and he's like, मेरे बेटे का दिल टूटा है क्या? ओह भाई, only I, मतलब उस point पे, मतलब even if मतलब वो गलत ही बोल रहे थे, दिल टूटा उटा नहीं था. But the thing is कि the sheer thing that
The way
he
he
called
said it.
and he said, मैं वहाँ पे मतलब
यहाँ पे पिघल गया.
Yeah bro, a tear rolled down, but I was like, पापा ऑफिस जा रहा हूँ, okay bye. It's just that you can never express.
Yeah.
It's just a dad thing, which also makes me think कि मेरे बेटे बच्चे भी नहीं कर पाएंगे.
Are you all comfortable talking to your dads about your relationships and
Not at
everything?
all.
Nope.
Not at all.
Are you?
I mean, I've never spoken about relationships because I've hardly had just one. But शादी की बातें होती है घर में. So he has this thing.
शादी तो ठीक है.
He has a
शादी
very-
relationship थोड़ा
Yeah,
है.
Shadi is not a relationship.
He has a
शादी की
very
बात comes up.
timeline thing कि बेटा 24 is when you get married, then by 27, 28 you have to have a kid so that before you retire your kids are settled. He has this timeline. He will pitch this timeline to all the boys in my family, to me also. But
Because you're a boy of the family.
yeah, I can say that. But no, I'm very rebellious. I'm like शादी okay wait अभी नहीं होगी.
Jalasmi
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
पापा पहले कमीज पहनो, ठीक है?
Dude, ये कमीज
dude, I am
thing
so
And he's also
I am so uncomfortable talking to about this thing to my dad, because my dad, the one time I did tell him about a relationship, he disapproved of the girl. So I'm like, never again, dude. It's not
I
happening.
know शादी conversations keep happening, but
Bro, yeah.
he's cool about things.
Okay. So that brings us to the end.
As usual, shadi conversation ended with an
Yes,
awkward
with an awkward
silence.
pause, yes.
Exactly. I think it's the shadi conversation. Okay. Anyway, we'll come
Yes.
back with some good recommendations.
Yes,
As
stay tuned.
far as we can run from shadi conversations. Okay, bye.
All right, and we're back. Snehil's dad, Snehil loves you. All right, so our recommendations. Let's begin with Abbas.
So I have a novel I'm going to recommend. It's called Several People Are Typing, and it's written by Calvin Kasulke. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. What's unique about this novel is, unlike most novels, like 99.9% which are written in prose, this novel is written completely in the form of Slack channel conversations,
Ew.
which we are all very aware of because we use Slack for our internal
नहीं
communication.
पढ़ूंगा.
कभी नहीं.
But so I mean, once that novelty factor gets over, कि
Yeah.
हाँ सब कुछ Slack में है, and how people are having side conversations on their own and they put up one face in general chats, it has a bit of a horror / sci-fi spin where one of the characters' consciousness gets trapped in Slack. So now he's having conversation with a Slack bot. Slack bot, for those of you who don't know, is like the internal
Yeah.
Alexa or whatever you want to call it, जो एक inbuilt
On
bot
Slack.
होता है on Slack,
Yeah.
which helps you with everything.
Hmm.
So he tries to get his consciousness back from the Slack bot, but the Slack bot gets his consciousness. So the Slack bot becomes a person and the person becomes the Slack. I know it
Oh,
sounds
wow.
very bizarre,
Very
but
2022.
yes.
All the more reason we should not use Slack.
So it's a very, very interesting novel. There's a lot of storylines going along, and it also is a satire on the corporate work culture
Yeah.
of how it exists in 2022.
Right.
So very fun novel. Please check it out. Several people are typing. Since it's Slack conversation, it's very easy to read, and even though it's some 300 pages, it barely took me a day and a
Yeah.
half to read it because it's very brisk to read. So
Alright.
yeah.
But dude, I agree with Snehil and Jalasmi. I also hate Slack. It's the worst. Slack is the worst.
The only place where we can't slack.
Literally, you cannot
Slack.
slack on Slack. Can't be cut slack on Slack.
Yeah.
Jalasmi, what about you?
So I want to recommend a song. It's called Farq Hai by Suzanne. I've heard this song before, but very recently I heard it in a very beautiful setting with
Ooh.
somebody, and I was able to realize कि ये song का mood काफी अच्छा
Oh,
है.
The
It's
music
a love
video
song.
has cats.
Yes.
Music
So
video has
then-
cats. I will watch this and listen to it.
Yeah. So then I've been a fan of the song after
Okay,
that.
what was
It's
the artist
very
name?
beautiful.
Suzanne is the artist name.
Suzanne. Yeah.
Snehil?
Okay, yeah. My recommendation is Bad, the album by Michael
No,
Jackson.
we want good recommendations, yeah? I'm going to do this every time you start the sentence.
So it's an amazing album. मैंने बहुत मतलब obviously my mom introduced me to Michael Jackson का music and सुनी थी पहले, like it's a good album, legendary singer and all of that. अभी recently I've started tripping on this album again, all over again. I don't know why. I just randomly stumbled upon Bad the song
Right.
and उसके बाद से I was like मैं माइकल जैक्सन की ट्रिप पे ही चला गया पूरा.
You know that happens. That is, and it's great when that happens. When like older artists, when you weren't aware of, suddenly you hear one song and like fuck, why haven't I heard this all my life?
Bro, everything के like VH1 पे हम लोग वेट करते थे माइक. Oh, by the way, माइकल जैक्सन का भी डेथ डे भी आने वाला है 25th June.
Hey, congrats! Sorry.
So actually this could have been my recommendation for next week. Anyway.
Yeah.
उनकी याद में. Anyway. So bro, Bad, Liberian Girl,
Smooth Criminal.
The Way You
Smooth
Make Me
Criminal,
Feel.
Speed Demon, The Way You Make Me Feel, सब legendary songs. जिसने भी ये album नहीं सुनी है should definitely listen to it.
Yeah.
अब तो ऐसा भी नहीं कि songs.pk से डाउनलोड करने पड़ेंगे. Spotify पे जाओ सुनो.
Wait, songs of PK पे इंग्लिश में भी गाने भी मिलते थे?
Bro,
हाँ?
obviously bro.
हिंदी तो बहुत मैंने डाउनलोड किए हैं.
हाँ.
इंग्लिश वाज LimeWire.
Linkin Park के बीच में आ जाता
Linkin
था.
Park,
Songs
bro.
dot PK.
So my recommendation will be the album Bad by Michael Jackson. Oh, obviously. Oh, sorry. Actually, मेरा जो पहला email ID था ना, that was badsnehil@gmail.com.
Oh, nice.
So it was like मैंने ऐसा album के नाम पे bad रखा था and then बाद में like ये तो मैं bad स्नेहिल लग रहा है, ये तो गलत है. उसको rectify करने के लिए मैं email ID बनाया rockingsnehil@gmail.com.
Do you still use either of those?
Bro, I use Rocking Snail. It's my Apple ID for sake. I can't even change that now.
Man. So there was a cousin of mine,
Yeah.
similar kind of problem. His email ID was serial_kisser, his name. And this is the email ID he was putting on college forms and
Man,
everything for
I-
admissions.
I have one lamer than that because it doesn't have my name in it. Okay.
Huh.
Mine was, I used to like movies a lot, and this is during the time we were living in Goa, and a new Inox theater had opened in Goa.
Hmm.
So my email ID was inox242@yahoo.com.
Wow.
थिएटर को
For no
email भेज
reason.
देंगे यार।
For no reason.
सर आपका AC नहीं चल रहा है Inox 242.
Inox, please give him a lifetime of free movies.
Yeah, I deserved at this
My
point.
dad
No.
set up my first email ID, so I have
Oh.
a very decent one. I couldn't
Oh.
play along.
Was
with
it your full
names.
name?
It was
Yes.
no underscore illegal underscore activity.
Alright.
No, I like how when Antariksh was making it, he must have put Inox at Gmail and
Yes.
Inox is already
I
taken.
take it. It was. Yes, I remember.
So then Antariksh was
Correct.
like, what can
That
I
is so
change it
true.
to? 4-3.
243 is also taken. Damn it.
I wonder मेरी विदाई में भी पापा बोलेंगे क्या?
No
बेटा,
illegal
no
activity.
illegal activity.
Alright.
Oh, man.
My recommendation is a YouTube channel. In the last few weeks, I've really gotten into catching up on all Star Wars lore and watched The Mandalorian, watched the Book of Boba Fett. I'm watching the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and it's going great. And I've really gotten into finding out about Star Wars lore, history, what happened in world, how the Sith were formed, and all the great Sith that have existed, all the great Jedis that have existed. And I stumbled upon a channel on YouTube called the Stupendous Wave. And it's great for this kind of stuff, dude. There are a million and one channels on YouTube for Star Wars lore, of course. But this one is especially good because he will talk about topics that are not in the live action stuff, but might be there in like Star Wars Legends comics or like the omnibus books and all what have you. So check this out. So he has topics like why the Darksaber is fighting against Din Djarin in the Mandalorian. So because spoiler alert for the Mandalorian, but you get it. Then like there's a recent in Obi-Wan Kenobi, there's an Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor controversies going on. I won't say much more than that, but then he talks about that. He talks about the other orders, the dark force orders that existed other than the Sith, and the very cool stuff that you will be into if you're into Star Wars, if you're getting into Star Wars. So just check it out, Stupendous Wave on YouTube. And
Cool.
that's the end of our recommendations round.
Yes, and then we'll be back next week.
Thinking? Yes,
we will be back next week.
Yes.
And talk about everything pop, जो भी इस महीने में pop rap June,
Yeah.
जो भी इस महीने में हुआ है pop
In
culture
pop
में,
culture, yes.
Guys,
we'll
half the year is over, guys.
Wow, so we should do maybe a half
We'll
a year
be
round.
over by the
हाँ.
time.
Maybe we can do a half year
Yeah.
roundup, but
Pop rap.
we'll think about it.
6 month
एक,
pop
One
rap.
of these.
एकदम existential crisis हो गया मेरे को.
Yeah. Correct.
25 की उम्र में क्या कर रहा है?
Yeah.
अरे सुन
Star
There
Wars
are-
के
so
recommendations
Don't
सुन
worry,
रहा
there
है.
are people older than you.
Yes.
सबको
Yes.
same.
And
Which is-
yeah, one of them just turned.
Oh हाँ,
Much
belated
older.
happy birthday
to
Antariksh.
Antariksh.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Thanks. I had to remind you guys myself.
How old are you now?
He's
Man,
30.
30.
Oh,
Welcome to the
wow.
30s.
And
bro.
don't beep that.
I was very
My
happy.
brother called me up. Literally, that was his. My brother's 32, and he calls me up and like, मुझे वो जोई का सीन याद आ रहा है.
Welcome to the
Oh
other
my
side.
God, why?
I was very happy on my 30th birthday. And
Really?
all the birthdays since my 30th have been really good. And 2 of them are in the lockdown. Yeah.
30 के बाद relationship में आ गए होंगे.
30s are good, man.
Yeah, you think?
30s in way. Okay, I will not say this on air.
Let's
Spoiler alert
Later.
for 30s, by the
Yes.
way. Anyway,
Alright, thank you
we'll be
guys.
back. We'll be back. Okay, bye bye.
Bye.